Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Catherine and on this channel I post everything about my life, and sorry if I've been a little bit MIA recently because my work life has been crazy. I've been crazy busy working loads of hours, overtime as well, and beginning of school year is always hectic, but nonetheless I have my October TBR for you guys and another round of TBR circus. But before we get into October's rounds, let's see how I did in September. So in September I had 5 roles, and role number 1 was a mystery or thriller set in a country I have never been, and for that I chose The Woman in the Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, and I did read that and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and my mom is actually currently reading it and also enjoying it. Then second book was YA contemporary or romance, and the challenge was a book with nature words in the title, and I chose Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welsh, and I did not read that. I did not have time for that. Role number 3 was new adult or adult contemporary, and the challenge was free pick, and for that I chose Again But Better by Christina Riccio, and I did read that and I gave it 4 to 5 stars as well. Role number 4 was middle grade, and the challenge was a Christmas book, and I could not find anything else but Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, which I don't really think is a middle grade, but I think anyone can read it. But yes, I did read that and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And then the last role was historical fiction, and the challenge was a cover that makes you happy, and for that one I chose The Paris Library by Jeanette Skalskine Charles, and I did read that. I actually finished it on the 29th of September, so just a little bit with time to spare, and I did love it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars as well. And so I have one book that I haven't finished in September that rolls over to October. That is Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welsh, and if I don't read that in October, in November I have to do a no buy month, like a completely no buy, not just a book buying ban, but like a everything buying ban basically, except for essentials. So yeah, now let's go to October. Okay, so if you haven't seen my TBR circus, I have loads of videos on my other channel. I will leave it down below, but also I explained all of the rules in September's TBR, so I will leave that down below as well. And yeah, so that's the board, and each color corresponds to a certain genre, and then I have to pick up a challenge card and then match the genre to the challenge, and then there's squares that I go down and then I go up, and then there's like around the world squares from around the world challenge, and then a bin that represents books that will self-destruct in 12 months, and yeah, that's basically all you need to know. And when I reach the end I can reward myself with a book that I've been wanting to buy for a long time. And yeah, so in October I am planning to have 3 roles, but we will see how it goes. So let's go to role number 1. Okay, so last month we finished on square 22, so now let's go for role number 1. Is 9. Around the World Challenge. So role number 1 was Around the World Challenge, and for this one I'm picking a book that I was supposed to read in September. I really wanted to read it on top of my circus TBR, but did not, and that is Hurricane Season by Fernanda Melchor. This is a book from Mexico, and this is basically set in a small village, and a witch dies in the village, and then everyone is trying to understand what's going on and reveal the truth, and like it's kind of a horror story, which I'm not a huge fan of, but October is a perfect time to read something darker and maybe some horror stories, so I'm gonna be reading that one. Role number 2 is a double, of course. 11, 12. And the challenge is book by an author you have never read before. Well, that is easy for classics. Role number 2 was classics, and the challenge was a book by an author you've never read before, and this is perfect for classics because there's just so many authors that I have never read before but want to read. And so I will be picking up The Fortune of The Rougons by Émile Zola, and this is the first book in the series that has like 20 books, and I've never read anything by Émile Zola. He's a French author and he lived during 19th century, and so this book is basically about this family, Rougon Macars, and they like their rivalry, and each book focuses on a certain character from this book. And the first book, as much as I know, is about the political situation of that time in France, about like the family itself, and there's not much going on, but I've heard that it's important to read the first book. And I know a lot of people read the first book, then the 7th book, then the 8th book, then the 2nd book. So like you don't have to read it in order, but there's also order that the books were written, and then there is a recommended order of reading. But people said that you can also mix and match. But if I like this book, I will continue on with the series. But yeah, I decided to start with the first one. And even though I'm not a huge fan of politics, I am a fan of history. And before I read this book, I've actually started this book. I'm on page 10. I started it 2 days ago on Sunday. But yeah, I'm literally on page 10, and so far it's only been description of this old cemetery. So yeah, I don't know. If I like this book, I will continue on and I will try to read in order. But yeah, it's a chunky book and it's probably gonna take me some time. So yeah, that is my classics by an author that I've never read before. Roll number 3. 5. Free pick, and the challenge is a book from your TBR. Roll number 3 was a free pick, and the challenge was a book from your TBR, and for this one I'm choosing ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. This has been on my TBR since July, I think, and I've never read anything by Agatha Christie before, and so this could work for the previous challenge as well. But yeah, I am so excited to read this book. I've been meaning to read this book ever since I got it, and so far I couldn't. And yeah, now in October I will make sure to read it. And this book has a really cool synopsis. So the serial killer chooses his victims by name, and so his first victim has name and surname that starts with the letter A and is from a town that starts with the letter A, and then his next victim is someone with a name and surname that starts with a letter B and has to be in a town that starts with a letter B. And so he also sends letters to Hercule Poirot and Poirot. I don't know, I'm butchering this name, but yeah, this detective Hercule Poirot is a very famous detective in Agatha Christie stories, and yeah, I'm excited. I've heard nothing but great things about this, so this is not a big book. It's less than 300 pages, so hopefully I can get to it in October. And our final roll number 4. 7. Another classics, and the challenge is a book to movie adaptation. And then our final roll number 4. Despite the fact that I wanted to have only 3 rolls, we have 4 rolls, but it was classics, and the challenge was a book to movie adaptation. And for this one, I am choosing Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And again, I've never read anything by Emily Bronte, and so yeah, I chose Wuthering Heights because it feels like a very like autumny story and like dark mood, and I really wanted to read it in October or November, and so I'm picking this one. And I really don't know what this book is about, and I've never seen a movie adaptation of this story, but recently I realized that there is going to be a movie adaptation with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, and I love Jacob Elordi, oh my god, and that couple together, like, is going to be great. It has to be great. So I am going to read this book. And also, before I read this book, I also have a book by Somerset Maugham, his 10 10 novels, or I don't know what it's called in English. Great novelists and their novels. He basically writes essays about great novels and the authors, and this one has yeah, it does include Wuthering Heights, so I will read his essay probably before I read the story, and it's only 28 pages long, so it should take me about an hour to read this essay, and then I will read the story. And yeah, so that is my October TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Bye!